What's up, guys? Welcome back again. Just going to be running through England versus Croatia. I know this match actually happened yesterday, but I thought I would just run through it anyway because I did really enjoy it. I didn't get a chance to review it, but I really enjoyed the game. And yeah, I thought that it would be good to run through it because I do think there is some worthwhile fantasy football picks in this team for England, and probably not for Croatia, but I do think there are some worthwhile picks for England. So let's get stuck into it. So just starting off with how both teams set up. England were really the more dominant team. They were looking to control the game, had most possession, and Croatia just kind of sat deep. And like a lot of teams, it seems to be one team dominates and the other team looks to go for the counter. So really that was the style of the game. Um, Really, I think the standout players for me, just going off straight away, was Calvin Phillips. Without a doubt, was my man of the match. I thought that he did pretty much everything well. He was aggressive in his reclaiming of the ball, but he also made some really good runs and also created some really good passes. So I thought he was a phenomenal player throughout that match. I was really surprised at how much he stepped up. For fantasy football purposes, he's only 5 million, so if down the line you need a budget option, he could be a good pick. I wouldn't personally go with him, personally, because I prefer midfielders that are going to get goals, and I think like he's more likely to get an assist. But he definitely surprised me. Definitely surprised me. And then some other good picks. I thought Stones and Pickford did quite well. Pickford didn't really have much to do, but that's really what you want from your goalkeeper. You can go for saves and clean sheets, but really I want a clean sheet at the end of the day. And I felt like England set up very, very well. I felt Rice did a lot of work covering the defence, which made the work for Stones and Mings and Pickford so much easier. His positioning was just so good. He knew exactly where to be to block out dangerous balls coming in, especially from the wide sides on left and right. He was just sitting in the right spot at the right time and just knew how to block the ball. So yeah, I thought he did really well. Kane was pretty quiet. I mean, you could have guessed the fact that he didn't get a goal, but he really didn't get many chances either. I think he had maybe one good chance, and that was it. He spent a lot of time dropping deep, and Foden and Sterling really got further up the pitch and were looking to take their chances. Foden had a really, really good shot, which he hit the post. It was quite unlucky not to get a goal, but yeah, I think that personally, I still wouldn't go for any of the front three. I just feel like they're a bit expensive, and I don't know if Foden will start for the next game because there's so much competition. Sterling probably will start because he got the goal. But Scotland are no slouch, and they will set up quite a difficult manner. And there's just a lot at stake in that game because a massive rivalry between England and Scotland. So, in terms of fantasy football picks, yeah, like I say, I wouldn't go with the front three. If I did go for the front three, I'd probably go for Kane. Even though, despite what I said about him dropping deep, I feel like he will at some point start banging the goals in. When he starts to hit form, there's just nothing that can stop him. So I would keep an eye on Kane. I would also keep an eye on Stones. I feel like if England are going to score from set pieces, he's going to be the guy that's banging them in. So I would keep an eye on Stones. And if you had to go with a defending pick or a goalkeeper pick, I would go with him from England. I wouldn't go with Trippier or Walker. Definitely not Walker. Walker had a really bad game. Misplaced a lot of passes. Trippier might not start the next game. I mean, a lot of people were surprised that he was starting a right back in the left back spot, but yeah, I don't know about Trippier, but he wasn't really creating that many chances anyway. I think most of the chances came from Phillips, and Mount created some good chances as well. He had a really good through ball to Kane. Yeah, so that's another player we've not really talked about is Mason Mount. We was quite hyped up before the game, and I was expecting him to get a goal or an assist, and he didn't. But I felt like he did get some good chances. I mean, he was on free kicks. He did take some free kicks. He was on corners as well, and he does a lot of other things in the midfield, not just creating chances and trying to score goals. So it's not always valued for fantasy football. But having said that, I still reckon that against teams where you need to break them down, he will be vitally important. So I think out of the England team, I would personally go for either Pickford, Stones, Mount, or Kane. Potentially Phillips if you really need to go with someone who's very, very, very budget based. But yeah, those are my picks for fantasy football. I think Scotland's a tough game to predict. I do think England will win, but whether they keep a clean sheet, whether they score 1 goal or 3, I think that's going to be a bit more difficult to predict. But yeah, that's my review of England. Moving on to Croatia, there's really wasn't not too much to cover for Croatia because I don't think any of their picks are really that good. I didn't really get too familiar with their team during the match because I was mainly keeping my eye on England, and also there really wasn't much going on for them. They were basically just sitting deep and maybe had 1 or 2 good chances. I thought Kovacic played quite well. He was the standout player for me. Perisic had 1 or 2 good chances, and Modric was also played pretty well. He controlled the tempo of the game. But other than that, yeah, there really wasn't much to discuss about Croatia. I just don't think they're a particularly special team, and I would just avoid them for fantasy football. So yeah, that's my review of England versus Croatia. I think that definitely keep an eye on England players for fantasy football purposes, specifically defenders, and potentially Harry Kane. If you want to go for a budget option, go for Calvin Phillips. He's only 5 million, so I think it's a really good budget option compared to the rest. But really, if you're after goal scorers, I'd say there's probably teams which are better. I would pretty much target England for defense rather than offense. But yeah, so that's my review, and I'll be looking to do some videos on the picks for Matchday 2. So stay tuned for that. But until then, take care.